Hey, what's up? We're recording. Thank you so much for coming to Filmspiration, the process. Um, Eric, so for those who may not know too much about you, go ahead and give us a little bit of your background, who you are, your experience, etc.
Sure, glad to. And thank you for having me on, Edgar. It's a pleasure to be here. It's been a while. I'm glad to be back.
Yep.
I am Eric Schumacher. I'm an actor and also a filmmaker. I produce and direct. I'm the current president of Sealy Studios, a production company that specializes in niche media. I've been an actor most of my life. Was raised by actors. Have had the great honor of playing some really fantastic roles. I'm kind of best known for some work in westerns. Some people know that I am one of I'm blessed to be able to say that I'm one of the very few actors on earth who's ever played both Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday in nationally publicized productions. Those have both really been quite exciting adventures. Got a number of projects going pretty much at all times, either on the acting end or the producing end or the directing end, and this is what I'm most passionate about, and what I do.
Anything currently that, obviously we know that life went on pause for everyone, Eric, but anything that you had currently been up to that you wanted to talk about, any projects or anything like that, or
Oh yeah. Well, I've got a couple of several really neat things in process. A couple of productions that I was involved in, both went on hold, during the pandemic. One of which is absolutely fantastically hysterical Western comedy series called HorseCamp by Patrick Ball Media, and that I just I there's a trailer out there already. It's one of the funniest projects I've ever been involved in, and just terrific people. I'm not going to say too much about it because it hasn't been released yet, but the trailer will. I'll put it out on all my social media soon. But the trailer will kind of give you an idea of the level of funny here. We're soon to release, I believe, the Revenge of Zoe, which is a kind of a nerd culture comedy set largely in comic book stores and game stores. And we're in the midst of shooting a sequel to that called Love Song of William H. Shaw, which is also in process. And got a number of audiobooks in process, a number of different projects in post-production are about to release. Had a wonderful a short film project directed by Richard Pines, which called The Quest, which cleaned up at film festivals, just went all over the place and won a lot of awards. And looking forward to that getting out sometime in the near future, we hope. And lots of other, just a ton of great projects happening all at once, and I don't sleep.
I love that the specificity of that very last part, Eric. Well, I will pre-book you now and say that I do want you back to share whatever you'd like to share of any one of those projects, and then definitely the other two topics we were talking about previously. But yeah, so I want this to be a series of times that people see, not just one of the first or only times, or in a long stretch of time. So yeah, I definitely want you back, Eric, whenever you're ready to
Glad to.
reintroduce the like for example, if you have a trailer you want to talk about, I'll slap that in. We'll talk about that. So Eric,
Wonderful.
a lot of everything I'm pretty sure has gone in these projects, your life, everyone's life, the planet, everyone.
Yeah.
Life has gone on basically pause for all of us, and so you and I were having a pretty good conversation about what that means and what patterns we're seeing in just regular people with regards to their flocking back to the power of story. So
Yeah.
all yours, my friend.
Well, yeah, I think what we're experiencing right now, and is in terms of art and the consumption of art, is a really extraordinary time where a lot more of the world than usual is really aware of suffering and really aware of fear, and really a lot more of us are shut in, and are trying to find ways to get through a time of an uncertainty, to say the least, and fear. And so a lot more people than usual are turning to more media than they ever have. And so this is a time when um, everything that we do is even more important than it normally is. And I think it's easy to, I've heard people say that, I've heard people say that, okay, what you as artists do isn't as important as what, medical professionals or law enforcement and other people who are out there risking their lives on a daily basis, especially right now, do. And certainly all of those people who do those incredibly essential jobs who are now directly in harm's way, are, I mean, you can't deny that they're heroes, and we're all incredibly grateful for the fact that they continue to do the work that they are passionate about and that they are being tested on right now as they try to keep us all alive and safe. And likewise, folks who are in job positions where they're just helping get critical supplies from one place to another, which could be as complex as medical supplies and as simple as we know, a roll of toilet paper, which has become incredibly important lately. And whether those folks are doing that job because it's their passion or they're doing it because they've got to survive, and this is a way of keeping themselves alive by making income, which also puts them in harm's way. There's a lot of facing of fear and a lot of heroic effort going on there as well, and we cannot deny that. And I'm grateful to every single one of those people, and I think we all should be and should always take the time to remind them of how grateful we are. But I think it's also important to note that the place of the artist is critical in society as well. The artist is in many ways the the soul, the collective mind of society. We're the reflection back on society of what it is, what it could be, what it has been. We're the reflection of what it dreams to be. We One thing that came to me earlier when I was thinking about this topic is, there are these people out there putting their lives on the line to do their jobs right now, and we're the ones who will tell their stories. That's our job, is to make sure that people have a greater level of understanding and compassion for other people, a greater level of awareness of different things that happen in the world, and can make it more personal, because they can live vicariously what other lives might possibly be like. We how many movies have there been about the experience of a soldier at war, or of a of all these different jobs that are dangerous, that get people thinking about the subject and talking about the subject, and maybe better understanding the emotions of people in different jobs. And that's our job, is to create portrayals that challenge society, create portrayals that and in every form of art as well. I mean, sometimes it's simply to make people laugh. I told this story before, but I was in a play a long time ago when I used to do a lot more theater, and my stock in trade for a long time has been kind of heavy, deep drama and really odd characters that as I was saying in our conversation earlier, I like to just sort of disappear into a character, and become someone entirely else for a while. And so I was doing a goofy comedy. It was a lot of slapstick, running around, falling over things, and it was a 6-week run, this particular play, and it was doing well. But there was a point where I was kind of like, I'm really done with this. It's not really having much of an effect on society. It's just sort of this haha fun stuff. Then we go home. It's not really that deep, gritty stuff that I really like to do. And I remember I always used to make an effort to get changed out quickly and then head to the front of the theater and try to meet as many audience members as I could. I liked hearing feedback directly and talking to people and connecting with them. And this fellow came to me, and he pointed to an older woman who was sitting behind him, and he said, "You see that woman over there? That's my mother, and her husband died a year ago, and she has not smiled for a year until tonight. Thank you." She laughed and laughed and laughed, and I went, "All right, let's do more of the show. I can't wait. Let's get back on the boards."
Wow.
And that was where I really started to understand that even what could be considered frivolous comedy can take us out of dark spaces sometimes, or can give us hope for the world, or just simply you know give us an opportunity to just laugh when we need to, and so many other things. Our job is to stimulate emotions and thoughts, and that's really, really important. And I think that it's even more important in times like this.
I think you're dead on with that, Eric. And so that's why, for example, as we've seen more people flock to like your Netflix, all your platforms, Hulu, etc., HBO. Those are all stories, and they're all stories that are transmitted through, obviously plot, but also character. Characters are played by actors and actresses, and so with almost caught myself.
Almost put your hands on your face. Ha! Ha!
God, it's so hard to like not do and to remember,
Mm-hmm.
to not have your hands all over your face.
I know it.
No, but yeah, Eric, and so without people, to people, it's Netflix. You and I are going to read into it a whole lot more because you work in front of the camera, I work behind the camera, so it has more significance of hey, there's a whole group of people who are playing these characters on all these movies, on all this content, and all these platforms, and that means something to somebody who maybe needs to escape from being inside all day and whatnot and this and that. But the thing is, I think that oh my God, I lost my train of thought on something I was about to say, but I think there's so much value in what we bring to the table because yes, we will be the storytellers afterwards because I was in of the many Facebook groups and forums that I belong to, a lot of people were, you see a kickoff of, hey, I'm going to write this script now, or I'm going to do this thing, or so imagine this. If 102 years later, we're still talking about the Spanish flu, how many more years later are we still going to be talking about the coronavirus and what the world went through the form
Yeah.
of story and storytelling? And so we will, as you said, Eric, you said it beautifully. We will be those storytellers and we will tell the many different angles, the many different perspectives and points of view of what people went through at this point in time. And there's a lot of value in that. There's a lot of value in remembering.
Yeah. I think there is. I think that leads to, I think it's important that we as artists also remember our place in all of this. Um, I am fortunate at the moment living in Arizona where COVID-19 has not hit as hard as it has in many other places in the world yet. And there's a very good chance that it will hit hard here like it has everywhere else. It's the way viruses tend to transmit. We sure hope it won't, but odds are, and I have many friends all over the world, many colleagues all over the world who tell me about their experiences, and I know it's devastating. There's a lot of pain, a lot of death, a lot of fear that a lot of people are experiencing, and then just everything from people who are afflicted and have significant symptoms, people who are afflicted and have virtually none, people who are just sheltering in place to get through this, and people have to be out working and doing various things to stay alive or to do what is their calling, which is serving other people in other ways like medicine and so on. And I think for us as artists, like everyone else, we have a lot. There's going to be, this is going to take some time, and whatever phase we're in as artists in particular, I think we need to remind ourselves of our own value, of what we bring, of what our passion can bring to the world, what we can deliver, how we participate in the greater good, which is by telling stories, which is by providing, be it a painting or a dance or music, how we affect people in ways that can raise their spirits or make them, in one way or another, be better, more rounded people through the exposure to this art. And our job is to do that. So there will be times, and I say this as somebody who I've from other things. A number of friends of mine have passed away in succession over the past few years, and I've had to mourn over them. And I've also had physical ailments in the past that have caused me terrific pain and been life-threatening at some points. And so I've experienced some of these things in other contexts, and part of what has helped me to get through each of those times was that sense of mission, that sense of that that I'm here for a reason too. And that reason, may not be as direct a benefit as a doctor or a nurse or a or a nursing assistant or paramedic or something who directly saves your life, but knowing how I've been affected by media over my life, how it's changed my life by listening to just that one song that hit that exact emotional tone and taught me something, or seeing a painting that expanded my view of the world, or watching a movie that made me go, wait a minute, maybe I could be more than I think I am. That now my job is to do that in a way that might affect other people, and that's important. And because of that, whatever whether the times are great and wonderful and everything's groovy, or whether it's a time where I'm suffering, um, that knowledge that I have a gift to give helps me get through those times, helps me to keep going when I'm mourning someone, or helps me to keep fighting when I'm when I've had those times where I was in a lot of physical pain or whatever, because it's not just about me, and that's the important thing. It is not just about me; it's about my effect on others and what I can do by giving my gift. And I think so. I want to encourage all of my fellow artists to think about that as you're going through this time. And if you are fortunate enough to be in a position where you're sheltered and not sick and have everything you need, then use what you have to strategize, to improve your art, to create whatever it is your discipline is. Work it, and or to find ways to use that discipline to be of direct benefit to others right now. What kind of content can you create? What kind of teaching or knowledge can you transmit? What can you do? Or what kind of plans can you put together that will, once things are closer to whatever the new normal is and we can all go outdoors, what is it that you can be prepared to do that will make a difference in that time, so that you're here to do that and you're emotionally and logically prepared to do that. If you're in a position where you're hit with this thing and you're suffering, or where you're desperately trying to figure out how to make ends meet, remember that you're not just doing that for you. You're not surviving it just for you, and you're not even just surviving it for the people close to you who love you, although that is certainly part of it, but you're also doing it for what you're supposed to do here. So if that might give you that extra ounce of strength to get crafty and figure out that how you're going to bring in that extra piece of income, or to just get through the pain a little longer if you're suffering, then don't forget that you have value. You're important, and you can be more and more important based on what you're able to give to others through your discipline, your art, your passion.